Shalom family, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the title, this is a vision that the Most High gave me about the judgment that is quickly approaching the nations, the judgment that's approaching Babylon, that's approaching America. Okay, if I can keep it all the way real with you guys, this vision that I'm about to share, I have purposefully put it off for years because it was so terrifying. I cannot convey verbally just how terrifying it was. Like, there's some visions that, you know, the Holy Spirit will give me that it literally feels like I was there. It literally feels like I was experiencing it. And this one is exactly like that. The terror, the fear, I can't stress it enough that this is serious. And another thing that makes this vision so serious to me is that I have heard the Most High speak audibly to me twice in my life. The first time was when I was translated. This was the second time he spoke audibly to me, where it was undeniable, okay? And it's just like a gripping feeling that I cannot even put into words how serious it is, what he's conveying to everybody. I need you to understand the seriousness of this, that he is saying he is sending the destroyer against these nations as he once did before. We know about the destroyer in Exodus when the Most High came against Pharaoh and he came against the idols that the people had erected in the nation. And in this vision, at the very end of this vision, before I woke up, and I'm about to share the vision in a minute, but before I woke up, he whispered to me, just like in Egypt. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the vision. The setting is ancient Egypt, and I am in Pharaoh's home, which is humongous. Okay, so I'm going throughout various rooms in the Egyptian palace, I guess I'll call it. And so I come to the very first room, and Pharaoh is in this room. I come face to face with him, and I'm having a conversation with him. And I asked him a specific question. I said, "Do you have something for pain?" And Pharaoh, in that moment, handed me instantaneously. He handed to me a syringe. And so I refused it. I told him no thank you. And then we ended our conversation, and I went on looking throughout the palace rooms. So I come to this second room, and in this second room, it looks like a church, but there's no people in this huge auditorium. But when I look further into the pulpit, I noticed that I'm assuming that it's a minister, right? But this minister is being arrested by law enforcement. And after I saw scene 2, or room 2, I left from that area and I went to a third area, which opened up to like these huge windows where you could walk out onto this balcony type thing. And when I got to the balcony, I noticed that I could look over on the outside. I could look over all of Egypt. I could see the Nile. I could see like the pyramids. I could see everything. It was probably the most beautiful view of Egypt from this terrace, I guess. And so, but while I was there, I started to focus on the Nile, or what I perceived was the Nile. Okay, it was just this huge river going straight through the place. It had to be like the Nile. So, and as I'm looking at the Nile, I'm noticing that something is swimming towards me through this river, but I cannot tell what it is. It's making like a snake-like motion or something. But like I said, I couldn't see what it was, but I could tell that something off in the distance was swimming up this river towards the land. And as it got closer and closer to me, I could kind of hear in the spirit something that sounded like a dragon, or I don't know. My mind just immediately went to like some sort of creature that I didn't know what it was. And so this thing comes out of the water. I'm just sensing that this is what's happening, and it's coming upon land. So I crouched down to like be out of the sight of whatever this thing is that's coming out of the water onto land. And as I do that, my attention is drawn to the sky. I immediately look up, and there's this green mist or cloud coming down out of the sky towards me. And as this cloud starts to like surround me and envelop me, it's this green cloud. I start choking and I can't breathe. And this is where the terror and the fright comes in at, where my heart starts racing. And I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Is it toxic? I immediately started thinking, this is toxic. This is not good. And, once my heart is racing and I can't breathe, I turn to run. I turned to run back into the building. And, when I turn to run to get away from this green cloud, and I run back into, Pharaoh's home or whatever, the palace, the entire place was filled with this black cloud, and it was growing and it was coming towards me. And as the black cloud came towards me, everything went dark and I could no longer breathe. My body hit the floor. It's lifeless. And I knew that I was sinking into a void, and that void had to be death. It had to be the grave. And as I was waking up from this vision, when I tell you that my heart was beating so fast. And this is another thing, like when I have these types of visions given by the Most High, my body is a true testament to the fact that it's from Yahuwah himself, because I can feel his presence. I can feel the weight of his glory in the room. My heart was beating so fast. I knew it was him. And as I was coming out of this vision, the Holy Spirit spoke audibly to me, just like in Egypt. And then I woke up. Okay, guys, now for the interpretation. Yahuwah is saying to all of us, and I took notes, so just be patient with me as I'm reading this off. But Yahuwah is saying to all of us, just like in Egypt. He says, tell my people I am sending the destroyer, just like in Egypt. I am coming quickly to destroy and to pour out judgment on the oppressors of my people. I will show forth my power just like I performed in Egypt among your ancestors. We have entered into a period of the Pharaoh. Pressures will increase for the people like a pressure cooker, birth pains. All of this will be used by me to bring destruction to the wicked in this fallen nation. The destruction is being sent due to wickedness and pride. I have sent so many messengers to proclaim my desires, yet you ignore me and the prophets that I have sent to you. Because of this, I will fight against you and utterly destroy you. You will experience the famines, the pestilence, the drought, the war, the natural disasters. And then he spoke to me. I have placed you as a watchman on the wall. Tell them that the pale horse is approaching. Tell them that it's me that's coming upon the Nile, the destroyer. That is what you saw in the vision. And then the Holy Spirit led me to Revelations chapter 6, verse 8, that says, I looked up and saw a horse whose color was pale green. Its rider was named Death, and his companion was the grave. These two were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill with a sword and famine and disease and wild animals. The English Standard Version, I'm going to read that version just because it gives just a little different perspective, but it says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him, and they were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill with sword, with famine, and with pestilence, and wild beasts of the earth. After I read this, I knew, I already knew that pale green mist that I was seeing coming down from the clouds or from the sky was the pale green horse that Revelation speaks of. I knew it. And that dark cloud, it's like Yahuwah was showing me that he's going to attack from every single angle. He's going to not only attack from the waters, from the land, from the sky, but that he's going to literally attack from every avenue. Okay? And when people try to be fearful of one route of attack, like I tried to turn and run from that mist. I was choking. I was like feeling I was, oh my God, it was terrifying. And I tried to turn and run from that. What Yahuwah was saying is, you can try to run from me, but you can't hide from the mighty Elohim of Israel. You can't hide from him. And he let me be on the other side of judgment to see and know what people are going to experience and feel, the fear that is going to grip people and the fact that they won't be able to escape it. I need you to hear the word of Yahuwah for today. He's not playing with people. I cannot stress enough. He's not playing. He's saying to everybody to get this. Just like in Egypt, he is going to pour out plagues. And those individuals who have refused him, that don't want to bow to him, that have pride in their hearts, are deceived. You will not be able to escape his wrath. And his wrath is terrifying. Okay, listen to this. Then the Holy Spirit led me to Isaiah chapter 19, verses 1 through 22. But starting at verse 1, first of all, this is a message specifically given to the prophet Isaiah about the burden. It's called the burden, okay, of Egypt, concerning Egypt. And it says, listen carefully. Yahuwah is riding on a swift cloud and is about to come to Egypt. The idols of Egypt will tremble at his presence, and the heart of the Egyptians will melt within them. So I will provoke Egyptians against Egyptians, and they will fight, each one against his brother, and each one against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. Then the spirit of the Egyptians will become exhausted within them and emptied out, and I will confuse their strategies, so that they will consult the idols and the spirits of the dead and mediums and soothsayers. Listen, I'm going to pause right here for a second. We're seeing this happen all across Babylon. We're seeing this in Egypt, which is America. We're seeing soothsayers, tarot card readers, mediums, spiritualists, people that are calling upon the spirits of the dead and ancestors, things that the Most High said never to do. We're seeing pastors in pulpits that are not preaching the true gospel. Hence the reason the churches are being emptied out. And these ministers will be arrested for their false prophecies. They're lying. They're soothsaying. They're consorting with mediums and demonic spirits and principalities. The Most High is speaking and saying that he's the one that's emptying out. The great falling away is happening now as we speak. Okay. People are choosing idolatry openly. People are choosing witchcraft openly versus choosing to honor and keep the commandments and to worship the Most High alone. They're choosing what they think or perceive as the easy route. Let's keep reading. And I will hand over the Egyptians to a hard and cruel master, and a mighty king will rule over them, declares Yahuwah, the Yahuwah Sabaoth. Listen, the leader that is has just been elected in, okay, is the harsh leader. There will not be any other leaders that will come to America that are not harsh leaders, okay? Because this is what the Most High is saying. He is the one that is putting these harsh leaders in place to bring a nation to its knees, okay? So he says, the waters from the sea will dry up and the river will be parched and dry. The canals will become foul smelling. The streams of Egypt will thin out and dry up. The reeds and rushes will rot away. The meadows by the Nile, by the edge of the Nile, and all of the sown fields of the Nile will become dry, be blown away, and be no more. The fishermen will lament, cry out in grief, and all those who cast a hook into the Nile will mourn, and those who spread nets upon the waters will languish. Moreover, those who make linen from combed flax and those who weave white cloth will be ashamed. Those who are the pillars and foundations of Egypt will be crushed, and all those who work for wages will be grieved in their soul. Okay, listen to this. The princes of Zoan are complete fools. The counsel of the Pharaoh's wisest advisors has become stupid. How can you say to Pharaoh, I am a son of the wise, a son of ancient kings? Where then are your wise men? Please let them tell you, and let them understand what Yahuwah of Sabaoth has purposed against Egypt. Let's pause right here and dissect this. The Most High is saying that, yes, these presidents, these leaders, they still have soothsayers. They still have people that are strong in the arts of witchcraft around them. But even they cannot perceive or understand the times that we are in. They are not seeing it. The Paula Whites are not seeing it. And they're around the president. They cannot perceive that these are the things that are coming upon the earth. They think that everything is all good for them, that they're going to have 4 years of peace and safety and prosperity, when the Most High is clearly saying that's not the case here. He's saying, who in the land has the true perception of things? Who has been given the truth? Not many. There's so many people out there that are literally talking about things. They have no clue what they're talking about. There's so many ministers in church that are telling their congregations that this is going to be a time of peace and making America great again, when there is no such thing, according to Yahuwah himself. He's the only one that can make anything great. And what he is saying, and it brings me back to the remembrance of, I have to look up exactly where this was said. I'll try to put it on the screen, what book it was in. But there was one specific leader that kept saying, I don't want to hear from the prophetic voices of Yahuwah because they don't speak anything good. I don't want to hear anything they have to say because they're not going to do anything but prophesy negativity and judgment. Listen, I'm sorry to tell you, but Yahuwah is still the same, and his prophetic voices are still the same. I don't really care about your feelings, but I do care about your soul all day. I am going to proclaim what he showed me. And the truth of the matter is, it's not sweet. Contrary to what I hear a lot of so-called, quote unquote, false prophetic voices talking about. Blessings on blessings. Now, let me say this. The Most High protects and looks out for his own. He's always done that, and he always will. Like when you think back to the story of the Exodus, the Bible teaches us that there was not even a dog barking. That's how much peace was on the Israelite side of Egypt. When the destroyer came through and took the lives of the firstborn, the Israelite people were fine. And that was another thing that the Most High spoke to me too, because I asked him, Father, why did you let me choke like that? Like, why did you let that come upon me like that? What in the world? And he said, what's specific about you? Why would I have done that? Like, think about what I did in Egypt before. And then I had to go back and read, and I said, oh, I get it. I'm the firstborn to my family. And the Holy Spirit said, exactly. I'm going to attack the firstborns just like I did before. I'm going to send out plagues against these idols just as I did before. I am Yahuwah. I don't change. And the way I come against a nation and bring it to its knees, it's the same way that I've done it in the past. The idols may be a little different. They may have switched their names and changed their names, but they're still the same. Back then it used to be Ra, Now it's something else, okay? But the Most High wants us to understand he's clearing out the idols. He's purging us of the rebels. He's bringing down wayward nations and kings that refuse to bow to him and give him the glory for who he is. Let's not forget that he is God and there is no other God beside him. There's nobody else. It's just him. And he's coming for his children. He's coming to avenge us. He's coming to save us from all of this. The second Exodus is coming. And Yahuwah is saying, just like in Egypt, I'm riding upon the clouds to show forth my glory. I'm going to bring you guys out with a strong arm and an outstretched hand. A strong hand and an outstretched arm. I'm going to bring you guys out of this. Don't be mistaken. He is going to free us. We are going to see miraculous times of safety, of salvation by the hand of Yahuwah himself. I want to skip down a little bit where it says, in that day, the Egyptians will become like helpless women. They will tremble and be frightened because of the waving of the hand of Yahuwah Sabaoth, which he is going to wave over them. The land of Judah Assyria's ally, will become a terror to the Egyptians. Everyone to whom Judah is mentioned will be in dread of it because of the purpose of YAHUAH Sabaoth, which he is planning against Egypt. I need you guys to understand that the Most High is saying that the Egyptians are going to be helpless against his hand that is going to come against them. And his end time prophetic voices, which are found in the nation of Israel, in the tribe of Judah specifically, because we are the ones that he is using right now as a battle axe to speak his true, unfiltered word to the world. He's using us. Listen, don't think that the governments and everyone else don't hear us. They hear us. And they know that what we're saying is the truth. That's the reason that they're trying to quiet us, trying to censor us, trying to do all of these types of things, but it's not going to work. Because the power of YAHUAH himself is backing us to preach this gospel without wavering. In the end of all of this, YAHUAH will get the glory when he tears down these wicked nations. So I pray that all of you would take this word that's been spoken today back to the Most High for clarification, for understanding. And I literally pray that all of us are found worthy to escape the judgments that are coming upon the earth. But I can tell you right now, the only way to escape these types of judgments are to be found with the Spirit indwelling you. You have to have the indwelling of the Spirit of YAHUAH himself, which is a gift that is sent down from him by way of the prayers of Yahushua HaMashiach, his son. That's the focal point of this ministry. That's the focal point of everything that I am saying to you guys. Is my heart's desire, is YAHUAH's heart's desire for you, that you would receive the indwelling of his Spirit, because that is the only thing that's going to save you in these coming years and whenever. That's the only thing that's going to save you is his Spirit, his name being written upon your forehead. Okay, so I pray for each and every one of you that you will cry out to the Most High. Cry out to him. He is your Father. He wants to hear from you. That's one thing about living for him. Nobody can stand in your place and do it for you. This is a journey that you'll have to embark upon on your own. But one thing I've come to learn is that YAHUAH is faithful. He's faithful in his ability to save. He's faithful and mighty in his power to deliver us. And I hope that you guys understand, I have some amazing testimonies of his power in my life personally, but I want you to understand that he is the same God with all of us. It's just, what are you expecting out of your relationship with YAHUAH? For me, he literally is the same for me as I looked at him in my childhood. He's my superhero, literally. And so he comes through for me like that because that's how I see him. I don't fear what's coming on the earth because I know that he's all powerful. He's the one that pressed all of this together and formed the earth the way it is. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. I don't doubt him. I don't doubt his ability to do anything. Okay. Nothing brings fear in me at all because I know that he is the same God that he was yesterday. He's the same today. He's going to be the same tomorrow. And if he saved all of our ancestors out of Egypt, he will do it yet again. My concern for the people that hear these messages are not to stoke fear. Know that I love you and I don't want you to be in fear, because fear is a construct of the enemy. Okay. It's not even real. It's it's a spirit. Okay, that's constructed by the enemy to keep us bound so that other spirits can come in and bind us. And the Most High doesn't want us to be in fear about anything, but instead he wants us to have freedom and liberty through his power and through his Spirit. So I say all of these things so that we can all be prepared, so that you can seek him now while he's found, so that you're not outside, begging and banging on the door like the people were on the ship, trying to get in where Noah was, saying, hey, let me in. Because once the door is shut and YAHUAH shuts us in, there won't be any more time. You have to understand this. So please Get it together and get in right standing with Yahuwah. Get in alignment with his spirit, okay? That's all I'm saying. And nobody can really tell you how to do that. Nobody could really tell me. I just had to stumble. You stumble and crawl until you learn to walk. And then when you learn to walk, you learn to kind of walk a little bit faster. Once you learn to walk a little bit faster, you learn how to run. Once you learn how to run, you out here teaching and prophesying and doing everything else. It's a journey. Don't beat yourself up, but just do every day, do a little bit more to get closer with him, whatever that looks like. You know what I'm saying? Pray more. Search and read the scripture. Study. Obey the commandments. Do the best that you can to show him that you're serious about this. And with every step that we take, he gives us grace. He gives us strength. He gives us an increasing portion of his power and his spirit to live this life according to how he's commanded it for us to live it. Okay? With that, I don't want to make this video too long, but I want you guys to know that I love you. I pray your strength in Yahuwah. I pray that you'll continue upon this road and never turn back for real. No matter what comes upon the earth, that you never turn around and never give up. Continue to pray and never give up. The same thing that Yahushua taught us. Keep going no matter what. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you again soon. Hopefully I'll be back this week if Yahuwah is willing. But I'll talk to you guys again soon. Okay? Shalom.